in your life by being motivated, inspired, and educated by awesome guests, just like today's guest, Diana Grant. Diana is a speaker, she's an author, and also a coach, but also something that many of you don't know, she's my dearest friend. And today with Diana Grant, we'll be talking about how to deal with your excessive weight through self-love. And Diana, I think it's quite an iffy thing so.
This is hello, Olga, and hello, everybody. Thank you so much for having me again, Olga. I absolutely love our shows. And yes, this is quite a big topic. And I think, especially at this time of year, so many people start the new year with wonderful ideas and wonderful intentions. And yet, so often, those intentions are joined with self judgment and a lot of harshness against the self and lack of acceptance. So I think it's wonderful that we're speaking about it now. And yeah, as you know, I can speak about self love in any context, any day of the week. So let's do it.
That's very true. And I think right now it's really powerful timing because those who ever went to gym, you know that January is the busiest month
Yeah.
of all, right? This is the month when everybody joins the gym because they promise themselves that this year is the year when they will tackle the excessive weight. And we have actually Howard with us. Howard is based in Leeds. He says, Happy New Year, ladies. Happy New Year to you too.
Hello,
And also we have
Howard.
Carissa with us. Hello, all. Say hello to us and please share with us where are you based because we would like to make sure this message goes around the world. So Diana, let's go straight into the business. How do you think the excessive weight, which we all have had or still have, some of us, how it can be dealt with through self-love? Is it even connected? Is there any sort of connection?
Well, Olga, I think that's the big question. And I'm going to start, if I can just backtrack a little bit to your question, is what is excessive weight and where does it come from? And my answer to that, it might surprise a lot of people. But what it is it's symbolic. We carry weight like we carry our pain, like we carry our woundings, like we carry emotional baggage. We carry that on our body in the form of weight. Now, a lot of people who are very practical and love the science and the logic of life might say, well, that sounds like a bunch of huru-guru nonsense. And yet, you can go into the science of it. There are more and more studies being run all the time about the power of emotions and how that affects our brain chemistry and how our brain chemistry affects our bodies. And that is just like a constant cycle. The one thing feeds into the other, feeds into the other. So anybody of any one of us who is carrying a little bit of extra weight or a lot, however much that weight is, that represents something. That is, it's more than just fat. Our physical body is a representation of our mentality, our emotional body, and our mindset, and our soul, for want of a better word. You know, I love that word, the word soul, but our spirit self, that essence of who we are beyond the physical, it's represented by our physical. So I think if we start there and we accept that, then we can sort of set a foundation for how self love comes into it. However, there are going to be people who want the science and they want the logical stuff. And I say that's great, but don't get lost in that because so often we can go after the information. And that's what all these diets, they're gurus, they're experts, they're programs, and everyone's coming at us with something. There's some new gym thing and a new form of exercise. And oh yes, you've done Pilates before, but this is new next level Pilates. And it is all wonderful. And it is all science based and it all works absolutely. But I think it's important not to get lost in that, not to get lost in the rules of this is my new program and this is what I have to be doing. When there is one really, really simple answer to everything, and that is love. Love is the solution to all problems. And I'll be happily have this debate with anyone offline, but that's the premise that I come from, and I'll always bring it back to self-love. So if you just think about what happens to you when you love somebody else, what happens is you feel positive, you accept that person, you appreciate them, you admire them, and you actually adore them. And so that's such an act every day. You think about that person and it's positivity. What does that person get to experience? They get to experience being accepted. They get to experience being appreciated and adored. What does that do for both people? The brain chemicals, the body hormones, all the right stuff gets injected into us. What happens then? People say love is blind, or you get giddy in love, but actually we start thinking in a different way. We start thinking in a positive way, in a solution-oriented way, in a anything is possible way. And so, if you bring that back to self, you bring that back to yourself right here today with your body. Try it on you. Give yourself some love, and your own brain chemicals and body hormones will start playing ball with you. Your body will get involved in that game of being loved. And that's where we can start talking about how self love can really, really have an impact on excessive weight. Because then what happens is, because your thinking has shifted, because your physiology has shifted, everything else becomes possible. So that new program, the new eating plan, whatever you might be taking on, there's a new level of commitment and nurturing and desire that goes with all of that, without having to necessarily hook into all the information and get overwhelmed by it and thrown off course, which happens to so many people so often. So, yeah, I had a lot to say there.
And that is so powerful. And that is so powerful, Diana, because what I observed, and we are working in the same field, we work with clients, we coach them. So we both notice the same journey with clients again and again. Despite we are not into weight loss, we're not weight loss coaches, right? We're not dealing with that. But we both know whenever somebody starts working on themselves, they naturally start looking after their body. And how it shows up is the more I love myself, the more I care about myself. Just like when you said that earlier on, what happens when you love somebody? You care about them. You want to look after them. You want to give them the best. You want to treat them in the best way. So the same happens to you. The minute you start loving yourself, you start looking after yourself in the best possible way. And that is incredibly powerful. So that's why, as you said very, very early on in your speech, that love is the answer to everything. And we can't diminish everything else what is there in the world. Yoga, exercising, gym, healthy food, that all is really valuable. But those are shiny tools, which are great add-ons to the core thing within us, which is self-love, right?
Absolutely,
So that's
absolutely, Olga.
important to remember.
And I think such a beautiful first step on this journey, um, with excessive weight. And this step, so many people get so shocked when I say this. It's in all of my programs, and with any work that I do one-on-one with clients as well. Is the first step is acceptance, and actually gratitude. So that fat, let's call it what it is, excessive weight is fat, it's inflammation. It has served you. It has served a purpose. When your inner being felt threatened, when your inner being felt like life was too much, like there was overwhelm, your body put on some weight to as a symbolism of protecting yourself. And so the first step is just to say, it is what it is, I accept it. This is here. And then to say thank you. Thank you, my body, for communicating with me. Thank you for showing me a visible sign that I felt like I needed protection. How powerful is that? And I really believe that's what our bodies do for us. They speak on behalf of our inner being. And so that, when we come back to that analogy of how we love somebody else, acceptance is such a big part of that. And appreciation, which is gratitude as well. So I think just to be first and foremost accepting of our bodies as they are, in whatever perfectly imperfect state your body is, first accept and appreciate.
Very
It's
true.
serving you. Yeah.
Very true, because very often we are expecting other people to love and accept us
Mm.
unconditionally
Yeah.
when we have so many conditions when it comes to loving ourselves. There's a
Mm.
beautiful comment from Charissa, what she says is love your body, accept the size you are, and don't compare yourself. Every time we
Yeah.
compare ourselves, we lose, right? We
Hmm.
lose because naturally we compare ourselves to somebody who is better, greater, slimmer, whatever else, leaner, and toner, whatever else, right? So here it's really important to accept yourself. Just as you said, unconditional acceptance, what really, really is important. And here Chavisa also says, um, love, no, there's a comment, one moment. Here, to love yourself right now, you give yourself a bit of heaven and acceptance. I quite like the
Absolutely.
term, the
Hmm.
heaven.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That is so powerful. So very, very powerful. Yeah. And as we've
Beautiful.
spoken about before, there's so much about self-love out there. And and what it really, really is, as Teresa said, it's more than um, sort of pampering or saying. It's more than just saying, I love myself, I care about myself. It's that act of true acceptance. True acceptance as I am. In that comment where she said, accept the size that you are, because size has become such a big thing as well in the world. And I think what is key here when it comes to excessive weight is more about once you love yourself, as you would love a lover or a child or a friend, one of your primary things becomes caring about that person. So when you love yourself, it's about caring for your inner being. And in that care will come a commitment to health and vitality. So then it's not about size anymore. It's not about the number on the
Mm.
scale. It's about how is my health? How am I feeling? How am I operating? Is my body in the state, in the best state that it could be? And that shifts the narrative completely, because then it's not about you're a size 38 and you should be at size 32 when you're looking in the mirror. It becomes, okay, self, you're a 38. I accept you. We got here because there must be some stuff that perhaps I was numbing with food, overeating, using food. That is such a natural response for human beings. In fact, it's the biggest one. If you look at all the addictions on the planet, food is the biggest one. There are more obese people on the planet now than there are any other kind of addict. So food is a very, very natural thing for us to turn to numb any kind of emotional pain or psychological trauma or pain. So that's natural. So it comes to that place where it's not about the size, where you say, okay, so I'm a 38. I'm 38. I had this idea that I should be a 32, but actually I'm a 38. First step, I accept you. I love you. I'm appreciative. My body works. I managed to digest that food that I numb my pain with. So let's work with that. Um, and from there comes power. That's where empowerment sets in. And that's where we start saying, okay, I am leading myself now. I am going to nurture myself. I want what's best for me. And yes, that's sometimes, Olga, you know this from your journey with so many of your clients and with yourself. That's where we do have to feel. We have to start feeling in order to heal. So starting to pay attention once we've accepted, then we move away from it's not about my size or how I'm not fitting into a picture. It then becomes about who am I? What are my real needs? Do I need to eat the cake, or do I need to nurture some part of me that needs healing? Maybe from last week, last month, or 10, 20 years ago, my childhood even. What is it that's making me reach for that cake? And then when you do reach for the cake again, because it may well happen, it's not, you know, none of us are perfect. And this is what we mentioned right up front. We have these promises to ourselves, and sometimes we break them. And then it's about redoing that acceptance again and again and again. I love you, and I accept you, and I see what happened. Let's figure out why that happened. So yeah, yeah, there's a lot there, but it really all keeps coming back to what you would do for somebody that you love, and and
Mm.
straight away that voice of judgment and criticism diminishes, because it's more about what can I do for you, what will work for us. Why did I what was I trying to numb with food for all this time? And then those questions become a lot more gentler, And finding the answers becomes a lot less scary. And it's not about get to gym at 5
Mm.
a.m., stay there for an hour, feel the pain, feel the burn. That might be fun for some. I love it. I love when I work my muscles and I feel them. But that's as an act after self acceptance. That's kind of becomes like a playful thing, like, oh, I can feel my body working. It's not because I'm angry, because I'm not the size I thought I should be.
Mm.
Yeah. It used to
Mm.
be there though.
That is very powerful. That is really, really powerful. Thank you, Dana, for that. And I think this self-talk, which we all can do, is not something what we are willing to do because it can be a very scary place. As you said earlier on, that extra fat isn't a cushion, right? It's a guard, it's an extra wall. Like the castles in the medieval
Mhm.
times, they had the inner wall, and then they had the outer wall, right? So that's your outer wall protecting you from the world. So I
Mhm.
think a good question to ask yourself on this journey when you do this self-talk also is, what am I protecting myself from? Right?
Mhm.
What am I keeping myself safe from?
Yes.
And very often you will find that there something will come up. Again, everybody is different, and we all have different reasons why we are protecting ourselves, right? For somebody, it could be, well, I want to keep myself safe because I never felt safe before, right? In your family, maybe you were bullied or something else. For somebody, it's, well, I have this extra cushion, I have this extra weight because it makes me big. Like one of my clients, she
Yes.
had to be a big girl. And
Mhm.
of course, what means big?
Yep.
Big means extra weight. And in her mind, she had to be, since she was little, a big girl,
Yeah.
right? So it was nothing to do with her unhealthy diet. She was very healthy. She was
That's it.
exercising more than anybody, and yet she was not losing the weight because
Mhm.
of she had to be a big girl. So ask yourself as you do this self talk, just like Diana said, treat yourself like another person and ask yourself, what could I do for that other person, which is me, right? To love myself more, to treat myself better. But don't forget that that excessive weight is your protection.
Yes.
And ask yourself, what are you protecting yourself from?
Mm.
Because the answer will lead you to the next step. And next step is to deal with that trapped emotion or trapped anger or trapped trauma or whatever it is, right?
Yes.
Because it has to be dealt with.
Absolutely, Olga. And again, it just comes back to the analogy of when you care about somebody else, you
Mm-hmm.
you do ask those questions because you want to know the answer. And so
Yeah.
to turn that on ourselves and practice that reflection to really get the answer, what have I been protecting myself against, is so powerful. So absolutely, and just
Mm-hmm.
accept the answer that comes and then work with it. And again, that proves right back to how we started, exactly what you're saying. Your client who was eating healthy, working out, not doing too much, not doing too little, keeping a balance. In the physical, she was doing everything right.
Mm-hmm.
There was a mindset there that was stored in her psyche that was so powerful that it expressed through her physical. So yes, and that, like I said in the beginning, it might sound crazy to some people, but there's actual science behind that. It can
Mm-hmm.
be trapped emotion, trapped mindset, and getting the answers can be so empowering. Well, it is empowering. It's the most empowering thing in the world, as we know from our own personal journeys as well.
Of
Right?
course,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I can relate to this as well. I've been on journeys where, for example, I was going through a breakup, right? It was a relationship breakup. I was cheated on, found out about this late in the evening. And guess what? For the next couple of months, as I was going through separation, emotional divorce, financial divorce, as you go through these
Yeah.
levels of divorce and through separation, right? Guess what? Suddenly, I wasn't eating at all, right? So
Yeah.
I lost so much weight
Mm.
because my body was stressing out,
Yeah.
right? Because I
Yeah.
wanted to get rid of everything that was connected to that man. And guess what?
Mhm.
Even my body was getting rid
Mm.
of everything, right?
Wow.
But what happens, as we all ladies know, there comes special month of the or special time of the month, right? And we feel a little bit needy. Our body needs a bit of more comfort. We need a bit of more self-care. But during those special days of the month, we don't give it to ourselves because we still have to work. We are still mothers and partners and workers, whatever else. We don't give that self-care. What our body does, reaches out to chocolate and sweets and cakes, right?
Yes.
Like, oh yeah, it's that time of the month. Yes, when you're supposed to give yourself extra care, but because you don't give it to yourself,
Yes.
your body makes you to give it to yourself.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. The body is so clever. The body is it's exactly the same thing as putting on the fat for protection. Like you
Yeah,
say, it looks for that feel good, that nurturing, that it'll get it
yeah,
anyhow. So you're not giving it to me, let's go get it through your taste buds. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I need my self care. The body's screaming, oh, I need
Mm-hmm.
my self care. If you're
Mm-hmm.
not going to give it, I'll take it. And
Yeah.
it does. And
Yes.
really does, right?
Yes, absolutely.
That
I
is
mean, we all know
fascinating.
that craving that can take over any logic.
Oh yeah, totally. And then there's no logic. And any unlogical decision can be explained in that moment, right? Because you are craving that. But here's the thing. So now we already established that excess weight is related to us actually having something to do with our emotions, something to do with our mind, something to do with our either trauma or emotional something, right? Okay. So what are the next steps for us to heal that? We spoke about the self-talk. We spoke about the questions. Is there anything else you can recommend, Diana, to those who really would like to tackle their excess weight this year? What else they could do?
Well, of course I can because I have programs for this, Olga. So, yes.
So tell us about them.
Okay, fantastic. So I'm passionate about this. I'm passionate about the body mind emotion connection and how we express ourselves in this life. So my work actually started with body work. Everything that I do now is as a result of first coming to body work. So I have some really, really powerful programs. The first one for people who don't know me and don't know this idea and are just thinking, oh, maybe I could dip my toes into this, is a 7-day program, which Olga, I know you've done. I do it regularly, and everybody who's ever done it is just like mad about it. And it's 7 days, and it's really an introduction to these concepts. And each day has a very specific theme, and it kind of gets the juices flowing in the right direction. And as you know, Olga,
Mhm.
it runs for 7 days, but it runs forever in your in your essence, in your psyche. It's there. And it's a really, yeah, it's a great, simple program, and 7 days. It's just so easy. I also have a bigger program. My signature program is called Glow, and that goes a lot deeper. So, yes, body stuff comes up. Body is a very big part of the program, um, and yet we do delve deeper into the answers that come from those questions. There are a lot of questions, there are a lot of different layers to different levels of acceptance and self love and self nurturing. And then that all builds together to liberate body image, to liberate how we see ourselves in our minds, to liberate our emotional relationship with who we are. So that's a great program. It used to be offered only as group work, and now they're two versions. So there's a group work version and there's a one-on-one version, which is quite exciting. Um, and then I have my signature program that I wrote many years ago, which is called Love Me Beautiful, which is the same name as the book that I wrote, Love Me Beautiful. And that's a longer 12-week experience, but it's very, very personal. That's a very quiet, personal journey that you really do with yourself. Um, you receive prompts from me all the way through, and you connected with me all the way through, but it's very much a one-on-one personal journey. So those are obviously the ways that I would recommend. Um, and and there are so many other ways. But to explore this, to explore self-love, working with somebody like myself or you, Olga, coaches who are working in this space, it creates a beautiful, safe um, container for it. And even just doing a single one-on-one, you and I both offer a quick coffee chat, can really, really
Mhm.
give somebody context when you're in that space and it's just like, what am I going to do? And you feel like you're being hard on yourself and you feel like you're hating that fat on your body.
Yeah.
Um, reach out, connect. I think that's so powerful. I also do have a Facebook community, and I'm going to be running in this week. Actually, I'm busy launching it's called Light Up, and so every year I do a Light Up experience at the beginning of the year. So Light Up 2022 is starting in the next few days, and that'll include some of the stuff. Definitely, we're going to be connecting with our bodies. So yeah, that's how I
That's
recommend.
wonderful.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. If you could share details to these uh, programs and also to the Facebook
Absolutely.
community, I'm sure people will benefit from that because let me just finish what I wanted to say, and I'm jumping to another thing, but I will finish off. What you said about that 7 day program is truly is life changing. The reason why, as you said, it's not only for 7 days, it's for the lifetime. The
Mm,
affirmations which are in that program, I still have them in my diary as reminders, as daily reminders. And they come up every day, and I can see the shift within me from the day one when I went through that program. And now, how differently I react on those affirmations. They're still there.
yeah.
And it's up to me when I'm going to finish them. But guess what? I will never finish them because they're really powerful. So I definitely will highly vouch for these programs by Diana, and also know Diana Grant personally. So she's my dear friend. So anything she sells, I will always buy because she's truly amazing when it comes to self love. But also, what I was going to say that it's very important when we work with ourselves to listen to ourselves, right?
Mm,
To really hear and listen to
yeah.
ourselves. That's exactly what we do when we work with you one to one. That's exactly what we do. We listen to you, we listen to your words, we observe your body reactions,
Mm,
we see how you say things and what your face says to us about what you said. Sounds
mm,
complicated, but it's not that complicated, right? But that's exactly what you can do to yourself.
yeah.
You can
Yeah.
listen to what your body wants and what it doesn't want.
Mm,
You can hear what your body desires. You can hear when your body is shutting down and wants some
yes.
rest. Give it some rest. You can
Mm-hmm.
hear when your body says, no alcohol this weekend. But then you go out with
Yeah.
your friends and your friend says, oh, come on, just one glass, not going to hurt. And you have it. And next day you just feel lousy, right? So
Yeah.
learn how to listen and hear yourself. Of course, it's a lot more powerful with a stranger because they're not in your head, right? But you still can do it yourself, right? In the
Absolutely,
form of
Olga. Mm,
writing, in the form of talking to the mirror, but listen and hear yourself.
mm. That is so powerful, so very, very powerful. I think that's one of the
Mm.
key factors of the self-love connection with excessive weight is that listening. And you mentioned something so powerful there is it's listening past the habits that we form because we form habits
Mm-hmm.
more easily than we think. So, for example, the
Yeah.
alcohol on the weekend with our friends, it just becomes part of our lifestyle. And your body
Mm-hmm.
might have been screaming at you for 5 years that it didn't want that. And maybe you missed that. And so it's listening just a little bit deeper than you normally do, just a little bit more intuitively to what your body is saying to you. When your body is craving the chocolate, what is your body really craving? Because it could be
Mm-hmm.
not chocolate at all. Yeah. So it could be, a warm bowl of nourishing soup. And I know that sounds like they're on opposite ends of the spectrum, but so often that can be the case. You might need a long hot Epsom salt bath and an early night to bed. No chocolate required.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, absolutely. That is so powerful.
Yeah. Wow.
I think we're gonna
Very, very, very mega powerful. And I must say, Diana, I could listen to you forever. And we could talk with you forever about self love, but not let's keep it too long, okay? Let's be very
fair enough.
mindful because the value is really valuable when it comes in smaller chunks. And I think let's keep it short today. But is there anything else you would like to mention before we finish off this show?
Well, I think I just want to quickly throw out a couple of A words. I love alliteration.
Oh,
And when it
sorry,
comes,
was I gone a little bit? Sorry, but it must be the connection today. Today was a little bit tricky day, I must say.
it was, yeah, we've had a fun day, but we're here, we made it. I just want to
Sure.
share with people some of the words that I think are key and that you can really use for yourself. And that is accept, acknowledge, appreciate, and then eventually you'll come to a place where you're able to adore. And those are some A words that I just find super powerful. Starting first with acceptance. Accept yourself as you are. Accept that excessive weight. It's there. Right now, today, just accept it. then acknowledge yourself and what you've done. Acknowledge your fat. What has your excess weight done for you? Acknowledge what you might need. Ask the questions. Listen for the answers. Appreciate everything that's gone before. Appreciate who you are. Appreciate everything you've done in this life, with or without that excess of weight. And then you will get to that place where you can adore yourself, truly adore yourself in whatever state you're in. So yeah.
That is
Amazing.
beautiful. I love these A's. I love these A's.
Mm.
Please make sure, Diana, you share
Oh,
those with us, because I'm sure people were frantically making notes, but I'm sure not everybody was able to catch up all of them. Okay, so it would be really good if you could actually mention them below the videos, or even just send them to me, and I'll be happy to mention them for people to actually be aware of those. But thank you so much, Diana, for today. It was really good discussion. I hope those who watched us today, they enjoyed it. Comments were great. And I hope you'll be able to take away some of the things which Diana said today, apply them, and in 2022, finally, let go. Not get rid of, we don't want
no.
to be nasty, but let go of
Mm.
excessive weight so you can
Yeah.
finally be the person you always wanted to be.
Mm.
So thank you,
Absolutely.
Diana, and thank you all for
Beautiful.
watching us today.
Thank you, Olga. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Teresa says, list A, be adventurous. Good observation. Good memory as well. So, yes, let's be looking forward to actually receiving all those list A's. And until next week, please apply everything you learned today from Diana, and you will definitely be able to level up yourself in 2022. Take care, all, and see you next week. Same time, same place. Take care.
Thanks, Olga.
Thank you, Diana.